Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. I was kind of looking everywhere, like I couldn't remember where the camera was. Hello, and happy Mother's Day to all of the mums all over the world, whether you be a mum to a real human, or even a dog, or a cat, or a monkey, or a fish. Happy Mother's Day. It's not Mother's Day in the UK, by the way, even though a lot of you had said Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Harsh. Yeah, it's not. It's not Mother's Day. Yeah. It's like in March, is it? I think March. I have not watched Baby Reindeer yet? Should I? Well, well, that's to be discussed. Who has seen it? Who has seen it? Let me just bring the chat up here. Then I'm going to sort out this screen down here. We'll get rid of this. Yep, and yep. Boy, get rid of those. And hello there. Hello everyone in. Who have we got mod wise? Let me just sort this screen out before I actually forget to get shot of that screen. So get shot of that. Then we will I'll X out of that. That's the only bad thing about Apple computers. Like, you get something, then you like X out of it, but it actually leaves it open. Like, that is open, and I don't want that actually open. What is it doing that for? Let me click on that. We'll get rid of that, and then hopefully things will work properly. Bring that window up and get that window ready. We're good. We're good. Yeah, Baby Reindeer is it's a bit of a crazy show. I see there's some people who haven't seen it yet, so I'll give you a bit of an insight into what it's actually about, and we'll go through this with this article here, and what the fallout has been. First of all, we'll do a mod check. Have a look and see who's in. I see Ken. Hello, Ken. Hello, my friend. We've got Karen in the house. We've got Kristen. We've got Dope in. Hello, Dope. We've got My May. Scott. Hello, Scott. I hope you've had a good day, my friend. Mysterious Headlines. I did see you as well. Hello, hello, hello. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Right, so Baby Reindeer had been marketed as a true story. Now, the thing that confused me when they first brought it out is that Netflix decided to market it as a true story, but not as like going down the route of documentary style. It was like as a almost like the it's like saying something's a true story with some really serious content in it, but going down more of a entertainment route with it. And I think that was potentially done on purpose, and we will get to this in a moment and why that's important. Because yeah, it was marketed as a true story. So a guy, and I'm purposefully not going to use specific names at this point, but he's Gad. We'll call him Gad. He writes this story, goes to Netflix, and he'd been doing this story in a stage show format for some time before approaching Netflix with it. And anyway, they do this show, and it's a true story about how he was stalked by this woman after they had met in a bar that he was working as. He was trying to be he was an aspiring comedy fella. He wanted to do stand-up, but he moved to Camden from Scotland, so he was in Camden in London and worked in a pub. And this woman walks in one day and he offers her a drink because he offers her a drink and she says she can't afford one. And again, this is I think a lot is false and made up. But there has been some things that has happened. So he offers her he gives her a drink and he gives her it on the house. And this seems to be like a trigger for for what would then descend into utter chaos. She would basically be turning up at the pub every day, and she would go on and talking about these fantastical stories about how she was a lawyer. She had friends who were both famous and wealthy, and crazy stories, crazy. And yeah, it went from there, but then it takes a real dark turn because she is just an absolute head case. But he himself is struggling with things, not and he is open to that. He obviously, this is supposed to be a true story, so he lets the viewers into kind of his dark secrets as well. He descends into narcotics taken. He is assaulted by a television producer who, in the aftermath of this show, not only was the female who the story was supposedly about located very, very quickly, but the guy who people thought was the person who had done the assault on Gad, they thought that they'd found him as well, and Gad actually came out publicly and was like, "No, look, this is not the person. I have a massive amount of respect for this person, and that is not the right person." There is speculation that there are people out there who do know exactly who he is talking about. There is rumour, again, I don't know the truth behind it, but there is another sort of programme in the UK that ran a comedy again. It ran for a few seasons with David Mitchell and Robert Webb in it, called Peep Show. And there is speculation around that it was something to do with that show. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Mitchell or Webb, but there was someone involved in that. And so this is where this has all gone. They done this story, and then you had the aftermath of it, where the public had done internet searches, basically typing in the messages that had been sent, because they would show on the screen in this play, in this show, the things that she had sent to him, and people searched it. They were searching it, and they found it very, very quickly, because there were still remnants of communication between her, the real stalker, and Gad on sites like Twitter, X now. So yeah, this woman has come out and she's done this interview on Piers Brosnan show. Of all people, she chose Piers Brosnan. Not Piers Brosnan. Piers Brosnan. She done an interview with 007, and she done an interview with Piers Morgan, and yeah, it's crazy. But she was never arrested. So let's just set the premise here, right? And this will probably put this into a little bit of a different context as we go through it. So there was two main elements of this that people believed were problematic, and that is that Netflix marketed it as a true story. What we have to appreciate, firstly, is who Netflix are. Netflix are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sort of television entities that do this kind of thing that there is. And they have an incredibly robust legal team. And not only that, but in the aftermath of this, one of the bosses of Netflix actually went into Parliament to address this and basically said, this is a true story. We had the evidence. We were shown what we needed to be seen, and we did our due diligence with it, and it's out. And they seem to be quite confident with it. Some of the figures that were thrown around was there was like 500 messages all told, or 106 letters sent. There was 41,000 emails sent, and these are things that you'll see what happens when we go through this. But again, let's set the tone here a bit, because yes, Amazon, fuck me, Netflix, they market it as a true story. Now, there is at the end of the Netflix show, there is indeed a as it goes through the credits, it says that there are elements of the show that have been dramatized for creative effect, if you like. Do you know what I mean? And also, Richard Gadd had done interviews and specifically stated that the real person who had done the stalking had never done jail time, because at the end of Baby Reindeer, it shows the stalker actually being charged and imprisoned for 9 months for stalking and admitting to it. And I feel that there's a potential that that was perhaps something that they used to mask who she was. Now, Piers would go on to say, like, the fact that the lady who they used as an actress resembles the real life stalker and things like that, and the verbiage that she used was mimicked near enough identically, was not indicative of their attempt to mask her identity, but pretty much helped them find her. I would argue that to the point of, if she had nothing to hide, if everything she said was true in this interview, and she hadn't sent all these tweets, she hadn't sent this, that, and the other, they wouldn't have been able to find it. It was only because there was remnants of the stalking online that they were able to find. So that was just proof that the story was true. They didn't use her name on there. They just tried to stay within the constraints of it being a true story. That's like they're trying to say that she is now, like, well, look at this article here, right? This article here, this is the real lady. So Fiona Harvey. And Fiona Harvey saying she's going to sue Netflix and writer Richard Gadd. The woman who has been alleged to have inspired the character Martha in hit drama Baby Reindeer has said she will sue its creator and Netflix. So one thing you have to think is, if that isn't really you, and let me just move this camera a bit. Can I move it? There we go. It's because every time I sit down, I sit somewhere different. You can't, on one hand, say it's not me. What they're talking about isn't me. It ain't true. Because you can say, well, if it ain't you, it ain't true. How do you know it is you? How do you know there just ain't somewhere, there isn't another person? It might not be about you. There may be someone else. But anyway. So she says she accused Netflix and Scottish comedian Richard Gadd, who wrote and starred in the show, of lying in their defamatory depiction. Representative for Gadd and Netflix have been contacted by the BBC. They have billed it as a true story, and so has he. And it's not, Ms. Harvey said in the interview. He is lying, and they are lying. The 58-year-old Scot gave the interview after being identified online by viewers who attempted to find out who Martha was based on, calling her absolutely horrendous. In the interview, she accused Gadd of making money out of my misery. So she's claiming she's going to sue them. But there's another thing what they speak about in this, about her potentially stalking other people, which she denies. But then you've got this, which is an article that has come out subsequently I was a stalking victim of the real-life Martha from Baby Reindeer. Watching her being interviewed had made me fearful she will target me again. And it says a woman who was allegedly stalked by Baby Reindeer's real-life Martha fears she will come for her again after the release of the Netflix show. Laura Ray, widow of former Labour MP Jimmy Ray, said she fears for her own safety after being allegedly targeted by Fiona Harvey. Ms. Ray has spoken out for the first time after her alleged stalker gave an explosive interview with James Bond. Not really, Piers Morgan. He'd make a good James Bond, though. Earlier this week. In an interview with The Mirror, the Scottish lawyer said she had not thought about her stalker for years until seeing the interview. She said, I hadn't thought about her for years. I had forgotten so much of it. Every time someone says a comment, it triggers it again. And this is the lady who is saying that she has also been stalked. It's also rumoured, this is fucking hilarious, that one of the reporters who had dealt with her from one of the newspapers that she'd gone to also said that she had started to send them also an abundance of emails, like 20 to 30 emails, after just having a discussion with her about this show. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to unpack. But let me just go into the comments and see what people have gone on, and we will then get into the interview itself. And as we go, we will we'll pull the interview apart because it is a bit crazy. What hope is there for us if one of the mods is a stalker? Funny. Yes, was Daily Mail, I think. Yeah, she's fucking good. To me, do you know what I mean? We don't know what the truth is, but all I do know is that she... You'll see. So we get into it. So we have a look at it. Let's watch it. And we'll talk with it. And like I say, we'll stop it as we go through it and see what you think. I will go on to... Let me think what screen's probably going to be best. I'll probably use that screen. That's fine. That'll be fine. I've changed that a little bit. You can see me. You can see her little gorgeous face. Let's get into it. Let me just, before we start it, I'm just going to click on one of the comments so I can put them where it's not going to affect people's view and pleasure. Maybe we can move. That works, I think, doesn't it? That kind of works. There we go. I genuinely think she's come forward because it's a link with Gad again. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You've got to be careful what you say. I've got to be careful what I say. All I'm going to do is react to the interview itself, and we're just going to touch on the bits that are clearly, not right. Because she'll probably fucking sue me next. Mind you, I don't expect this to be that busy, so probably Pete won't see it, so we'll get away with it. Let's have a look. I would need to turn the volume up on that first, that would help. And then we'll click on that.
One of the first things that viewers of Baby Reindeer are told by Netflix is that
You'll have to tell me what the volume's like.
Story, not based on a true story or inspired by real events, but a true story. It's emphatic about that. The show's writer, comedian Richard Gadd, even plays the lead role himself. Many millions of people across the world have now seen it. It's one of the biggest Netflix shows of the year. And I've watched it all. It's a riveting, emotionally intense drama worthy of all the critical plaudits it's now receiving. Viewers are gripped by the apparently real-life struggle of a fledgling stand-up comedian who is mercilessly stalked by an older woman, Martha, in a 3-year onslaught of harassment. Martha bombards him with tens of thousands of lurid emails, leaving hundreds of voicemails, lurking outside his house, attacking his partner, even confronting his family and friends. Now, Richard Gadd said that he and Netflix had gone to such great lengths to disguise Martha's real identity that she wouldn't even recognise herself. But that wasn't true. Many people...
We've got to just touch on this, right? To disguise her, the actress looked pretty much like her. She put on a Scottish accent to basically say she was from Scotland. And like I say, the verbiage that they used and the messages that she sent, they pretty much put verbatim on the screen. But you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say it's a true story and then not have those, but then criticise them for basically sticking to it being true. That's almost like saying, well, if they hadn't have used the proper verbiage, or they'd have used someone who didn't look anything like her, they could have then argued that that wasn't true. I'm not a size 8 and blonde. I'm clearly larger than that and dark. You know what I mean? But fuck, this is mental. This gets crazy.
Did recognise her very quickly. And the woman at the centre of the story was outed online within hours simply by cross-referencing her posts on social media with those that were used in the show. Other details about her character bear a striking, unavoidable similarity with the real woman now accused of being the crazed stalker Martha.
What I'll say here, Karen, like they said, they used at the end of Netflix, at the end of it, yeah, you could say that they should have said based on a true story, but it was a true story. What they did was at the end of it, they put a piece up saying that elements of it had been changed for dramatic effect. They dramatised some of it. So the story was a true story. They added pieces to it, and I believe that they potentially added some of the bits to try and disguise who she was, such as putting that she had been arrested, charged, and imprisoned, because I imagine that people would then start looking for people who had served time for stalking, or if they did happen to come across her, then do a criminal record search and realise that she hadn't done time, they would probably think, well, that's not her then. So it could have been done. You know, Gad came out himself, however, after and said that she hadn't done prison time. So it's a difficult one, but based on a true story, Kevin told Fargo is a true story too, but they had to change names and details of real victims. Exactly. And it's, you know, it's a difficult one. You know, you could argue that if they get sued and lose, it's because they didn't put based on a true story. But if the entire story's there and it's true, and you just add to it, then that's not based on a true story. That is the true story, but with elements added for dramatic effect or to assist in hiding who the person is. I think there's a technicality there, and I think the size of their legal team, if they've got proof of the emails, the messages, and so on, you'll see. As this goes on, this is, yeah.
The show raises uncomfortable questions about the line between fact and fiction, fantasy and reality. Another innocent man in the television industry has been falsely accused of sexual assault based on one of the storylines in the drama. Well, Fiona Harvey is the woman outed as the real Martha of Baby Reindeer. She's chosen to confirm her identity because she wants to have a right of reply. And so, in her first television interview, she joins me now in the studio. Well, thank you for joining me, Fiona. First of all, why have you decided to go public?
The internet sleuths tracked me down and hounded me and gave me death threats, so it wasn't really a choice. I was forced into this situation.
What do you hope to achieve in this interview?
I came on your show because you're a veteran broadcaster. I think you'll give me a fair hearing.
And I think you paid her 250 grand.
Yourself not so long ago. So that's why I've chosen this show.
Have you watched the drama?
Not at all. I've heard about the court scene, about the jail sentences and all this sort of stuff.
But you really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious?
She does look like her.
No, I think I'd be sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online. People phoning me up. You know, it's been absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't give credence to something like that, and it's not really my kind.
One of the great challenges in this world
That's not
is
my
knowing
ads, by the
enough
way,
about a
that's his.
subject to think you're right.
about the jail sentences and all this sort of stuff.
But you really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not
He's full of
curious?
shit.
No.
Fuck off, you liar.
It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online. People phoning me up. You know, it's been absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't give credence to something like that, and it's not really my kind of drama.
How do you know you watched it, you
that
fucking
you were the
idiot?
person being depicted in this?
5 years ago on BBC Breaking News, I saw Mr. Gadd had written a play for the Edinburgh Festival, and he was holding up placards, MP's wife stalker, and all of this, and he'd called it Baby Reindeer. That's all I knew. And I thought, well, I've only met this guy 2 or 3 times.
Right, remember that. This is a bit too her face. So she reckons, right, at this point, she's only met him 2 or 3 times. So what you need to do is get a pen and a bit of paper and write some of these facts down. So only met him 2 or 3 times. And then we'll continue. 2 or 3 times, you're a fucking idiot.
I don't know him. And left it at that. I should have possibly jumped it at that stage.
And when did you know that Netflix were doing something?
2 weeks ago. I had just moved flat, so it was 2 weeks ago past Saturday.
And how did you hear?
I saw on BBC Breaking News that he'd sold to Netflix, and both he and this character, Martha, this Jessica actress, seemed to be promoting mercilessly.
Did you think then it was you that they were depicting?
I thought it was me they were depicting 5 years ago because of this MP's wife stalker article that had been a number done on me by the Sunday Mail 25 years ago when I was going for Donald Du's parliamentary seat.
That's the woman who I showed you, who the new article has come out where she has come back again, this MP's wife, to talk about it. So look, that's what she's now talking about. So that's who that woman was in that article.
So I had a vague idea then. The Daily Mail then approached me on the Wednesday, 2 weeks ago. So sort of 2 weeks tomorrow. But 2
You'll
weeks
learn
ago,
about
if
the
you see
baby
what I mean.
reindeer bit.
And told me that I was getting death threats online, that I'd been outed as Martha. There were TikTok videos. And
were you
all
online at all? Because you were before, but are you these days online?
I've come off Facebook as of yesterday.
Are you on X, what used to be Twitter?
No, I'm not.
Because you had an
Twitter.
account.
Yeah, that's right. Years and years ago. I'm scared to Google up BBC Breaking News. I'm certainly scared to Google up the Daily Mail in case I am on it in some bizarre circus.
That moment you realised it was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology. They'd done the maths and they worked out this was you that was being depicted. How did that make you feel?
Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I couldn't believe he'd done that. And so long after first meeting, you know, we're talking 10, 12 years ago, really horrendous. I didn't know who to trust. I was told by the Daily Mail, don't trust those bleeps in Scotland. Whereas I found John Dingwall of the Daily Record completely wonderful, actually. He's acted with total courtesy. I couldn't believe this had happened.
I want to play a little clip. This is just some of the reaction to Baby Reindeer from members of the public.
She ends up becoming this the craziest stalker I ever seen in my life.
And this is all a true story?
This is all a true story, yeah.
Apparently.
And they found the real woman online.
So I assume in the actual thing, they've obviously given her a different name. It's a different woman, but you know what I find? They always manage to find a similar looking woman, and the build tends to be the same.
I have a theory about this, though. I feel like he's done it on purpose because he knew that people would find her and he wants to make her life hell a bit.
When you hear that, what do you think?
The final guy on there, I think, is correct. I think he always wanted this to come out, to persecute someone, to take attention away from him and this rape allegation. And I just generally think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch given that he's written it about himself, if you watch the whole thing as I did, all 5, 6 episodes, whatever it is, he has a lot of problems. He's quite open about that. The question, I guess, which we'll come to, is how much of the way he depicts you is true. And your position is that it's just not factual.
It's a work of fiction, it's a work of hyperbole, as I've always said. And there are two true facts in that. His name is Richard Gadd, and he worked as a jobbing barman on benefits in the Holy Arms, and we met 2 or 3 times. Those are the only
Well, let's go
facts.
let's go through some of these things. So
There's that 2 or 3 times again. So this is where we now start getting into how they met. And at this point, who believes her? Of course, we'll do a random show of hands as we progresses. So where we are at the moment, put a number 1 in chat if you believe her, or put a number 2 if at this point you think that this is someone who is not telling the truth. So 1, you trust her, 2, you don't. And then we'll continue and we'll do that again. So there's a few 2s. Have we got any 1s? Come on, someone's got to trust her. My May. I can't believe you trust her, My May. I can't believe you trust her. I think My May's the only one. My May, you ought to hope she don't play this back, mate, because she's going to be all over you. She'll be I hope you ain't got a bus stop outside your house, My May, because she likes sitting in bus stops, mate. You'll look out your window and she'll be out the window. My May. Woo. Yeah, there's a lot of 2s. Let's get into it. Like I say, My May, you're going to be... If we don't, she better be very worried. She's going to be outside your house.
you first met him. I mean, the show shows you coming in to a London pub. You've just named the pub. And he's working behind the bar, Richard Gadd, and he offers you a cup of tea. Is that what happened?
No, that's not correct. He didn't offer me a cup of tea. Nobody gets anything free from the Holy Arms. I was in for a meal with a drink of lemonade, and I was very, very hungry. I'm diabetic, so very hungry. So that's.
And did you talk to him?
He interrupted a conversation. There was another barman there, and he said, "Oh, you're Scottish," and basically commandeered the conversation. I was talking to somebody. It's pretty rude to interrupt. So he seemed to be obsessed with me from that moment onward.
I mean,
He's obsessed with you.
I've never met you before, but you do look and sound very similar to the actress in the drama.
I haven't seen the actress. We're both Scottish. We've both got dark hair. She's considerably younger than me. I think she's about 18 years younger than me.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 58. I'm a year younger than you. And I think Martha, Jessica, the actress, is about 40, 38, 40.
It says in the show that you proceeded to return to the same pub time and again, but you never paid for a drink.
I don't drink alcohol. And
did you pay for anything that you had in the pub?
Lemonade or soft drinks.
Would he give you free drinks? Or?
No, absolutely not. This is sort of a depiction of me as a pauper who wouldn't stand around or stand a drink. It's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It says that you told Richard Gadd that he looked like a baby reindeer toy you once had as a child. Hence
there we go.
The name of the show.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I appear to have written most of the show in my sleep. I dressed.
Did you have a baby reindeer
I
toy?
had a toy reindeer.
So that's true.
And he shaved his head. That bit is true. And there were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas.
It was I had a baby reindeer and he shaved his head. What, the baby reindeer shaved his own fucking head? What's he talking about? Or did you shave the baby reindeer's head? I don't understand that bit.
Time or something. It was a joke. So I have inadvertently penned the name of the show.
Right, but that is true.
That's true. That's a true fact.
Whilst bantering with you, Richard Gadd told you he'd like to hang your curtains. Is that true?
This, I think, was a Holy Arms joke about curtains and a lot of sexual innuendo.
He did say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that you caught Richard Gadd looking through your window after he followed you home one day?
False.
You never saw him at your house?
I didn't see him at my house. I think it would be impossible to look through a window.
Did anyone else ever see him there?
No.
So as far as you were concerned, he never turned up at your place?
Correct.
But the Netflix show has him doing that?
Yes, I believe so. I've been told that.
But that categorically didn't happen?
That categorically didn't happen.
In the course of your relationship with Richard Gadd, you send him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true. If somebody was sending somebody
Not true.
41,000 emails or something, they'd be doing how many a day? Lots.
Well, they'd be
Lots.
obsessively
Yeah,
contacting
yeah,
somebody.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What
None
did
of
you
that's
send
true.
him?
No, none of that's true. I don't think I sent him anything.
Right, did you hear that? Right, so this is where things take a turn. I don't think I sent him anything. Remember that. This is where it begins. I don't think I sent him anything. So imagine Gad going to Netflix. Hello, Netflix. I've got a fucking brilliant idea. True story for you. I had a stalker and all this other stuff. Stalker, what'd she do? Yeah, she sent me 41,000 emails, 700 this, 500 this, 48 this. Can you prove any of it? Nah. No, you're just going to have to trust me. I'm from Moscow, Idaho, baby. I can't prove it, but you're just going to have to trust me. Get the fuck out of here, Gad. That's what would have happened there. She straight up just said, I don't think I sent him anything. Watch this.
You didn't send him anything.
No. I think there may have been a couple of emails exchanging, but that was it. Just jokey banter emails. That was it.
Netflix have said that these details are the real ones. That this is exactly
completely incorrect.
So you're
Where would
denying
anyone-
sending anything to him?
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text
but
messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
No, it wasn't numerous. It was about 18 tweets there or 14.
It's quite a lot to someone who's not that well known.
But we were all friends. You know, it was banter.
We're all
But it establishes
friends.
you were contacted. That's in public.
Didn't send him anything. Now we're all
Yes, I mean,
friends.
this
you write him letters?
Public, no. I think when I saw the rape interview, that's actually incorrect. What I said there, when I saw that in the Guardian, I said, "What a shame! It's not your fault." Something
You
like
did
that.
write to him.
One later.
So
What
you
letter now?
would say you only sent
So she went from, I don't think I sent him anything, no emails, no nothing, no nothing, to then a couple of emails going backwards and forwards. We were friends, bit of banter, no letters. Oh, well, there might have been one letter. So now you can see this has fallen apart at the fucking seams. Fuck's sake. And this descends into more chaos. She shouldn't have done this interview, by the way.
him a handful of emails. You never texted him.
No.
You tweeted him 18 times, you think. You never sent a Facebook message.
That's
And
right.
you wrote him one
That's
letter.
right.
Yeah.
So why have they got
Just one.
all these details here which are supported?
Who is they? Netflix.
Who has
That's
sent
just
all
not
these things?
correct. So I'm sorry.
Who has sent all this stuff to him?
I've no idea. I think he's probably made it up himself.
I mean,
Sent
you could
himself
prove, I
fucking
guess, quite
41
easily it
emails.
wasn't you.
Correct.
Because it'd all be on your computer.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
Would you be happy for someone to look at that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
What do you have? What technology do you use?
Right, what technology do I use? A very, very old smartphone just now because the other one packed up a week before moving. That's it.
Because they're all sent from an iPhone.
Yes, so
They believe it wasn't actually an iPhone ever being used.
meaning what
Meaning
kind
that
of
someone
phone?
was hiding the fact that they were actually not using it. They were pretending it was from an iPhone.
I don't really understand that.
Well, people can mask.
I
where
thought
they're
he was
sending stuff
intelligent, you
Okay,
fucking spoon.
right. I'm not technology whiz kid of the year. I wasn't doing that either.
from. I mean, obviously, when you make such an emphatic denial of the central point of the story, you're basically accusing both him but also Netflix of lying about it.
I am.
And that's pretty defamatory.
It's not defamatory if it's true.
No, it's defamatory that they've been to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I misunderstood there. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I don't see how anyone could do 41,000 emails and all this kind of stuff, you know.
I don't know how much you know about technology, but are you aware that if it was you sending those emails, it would be very easy for the police, for example, to work out exactly where they come from? That the IP address would reveal
Yes,
that.
I understand that, and it stays on forever. But the
So
point
she
is
goes.
this-
She goes from not being technology aware anything to then knowing exactly how they can trace stuff through IP addresses. Yeah, I know all that. I know. So you pick and choose what pieces of technology you understand, and this gets better. She did. You'll find out about the lawyer situation. So we'll yeah. Stick a pin in it. Stick a pin in it.
Years and years ago, we were congratulating him.
But it would all still be there.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
And if you sent 41,000 emails,
This is just a lot of rubbish. Yeah, so that should be stored there.
Well, they'd all be there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got them.
He's not got 41,000 emails. That's over a year.
Well, according to you, there's only a handful.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how long would that take someone to type up?
How many do you think you sent him?
A handful.
Like
that.
Handful now.
Less than 10.
Less than
emails.
10.
Not
was 2.
41,000.
Right, there's a massive disparity between the two.
I agree. I
none.
agree.
I mean,
Then
if
2,
it's not you that
less than
sent all
10.
this, then clearly Martha cannot be you.
Yes, Martha cannot be me because there are a number
Then what
of
are you complaining
allegations
about then if she's
that have
not
been put
you?
to me by journalists that are simply not true. There's a whole play. It's not just the emails. There's a sexual assault in the canal. There's
But if
also
the police looked at this and if you sue, for example,
You should watch
then
it,
this
Dom.
will go to a court of law, and then on discovery, people will look into all this. The phone company
Not
will be
done in
asked about
Idaho, you'll
evidence
get
of all the
discovery.
text messages. The internet providers will provide all the backup for the emails. Facebook will be asked about the Facebook messages, and so on. So all of this would come out in a court case.
in disclosure. Yes.
And you're prepared to do that.
yes, because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea. 41,000 emails.
Yeah. I mean, would
I
you
don't know.
would you accept that someone who did that would be very
Hello,
obsessive
Addy.
about someone?
Yes, I mean that's a lot of emails. And why
is a lot.
now? Why didn't you go to the police at the time? Or this sort of doesn't make sense.
I mean, the fact that Netflix have said this is based on reality, this is a true story, that Martha did, the real life Martha, the person they based this on, who Richard Gadd has written about, is the person that sent these. And he has the evidence to prove it. What you're saying is that proves you cannot be Martha.
Yes, and I would like to see Netflix's evidence for that, which would come out in disclosure as well.
And you're 100% sure it's not you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes on to say that you
So he's quite clever here. What he's trying to do, if you don't get what he's doing, because what he's basically saying is, look, Gadd has gone to Netflix and said, I was stalked by an individual, and this individual sent me 41,000 emails, sent me 500 this, 700 that, 48 this. So what Piers is doing is saying, well, if you didn't do that, if you're saying you, Fiona, didn't do that, and he's saying the person this story's about did do it, and he's got proof, then it can't be her. Do you see what I mean? So he's very, very clever in the way he's trying to basically say, look, well, if you're saying this isn't you, then maybe it isn't you. Why are you even here trying to say that this is about you? So what element of this do you have which element of this are you looking into and feeling, well, this is definitely me? So yeah, he's clever here, but again, she ties herself up.
Richard Gadd when he was appearing in his stand-up shows. Did you ever do that?
No.
Never?
No, it's not.
Did you ever attend his stand-up?
I think I went to one. It was
So she's so she only met him 3 times. Then the email thing. Then she's now saying that she even went to one of his comedy shows.
long time ago.
And you never shouted out or anything?
Why would I do that? No.
I don't know.
No. I mean,
Do
why would
you
anybody
ever
do
shout
that?
out at comedy shows? I don't know. People do.
No. I don't generally go to comedy shows.
So
But
you
no.
never heckled him?
No.
Did you ever attack Richard Gadd's girlfriend because you were jealous?
No, I don't think he had a girlfriend. I think he's homosexual. But no, I have never been to his house or attacked any girlfriend or anything like that.
There are lots of scenes where Martha
Send him a letter,
is
though.
sitting outside his house
How did you
all
get his
day.
address?
for
Right.
many days, sitting in a bus stop, sitting out there, walking around, and would occasionally shout at him. Did you ever do that?
No, I haven't seen the show, but I'm getting.
I have, so I'm
got
telling you.
yes, I got all the court allegations, the trial allegations.
Well, I'm going to come to that, but on that point, did you ever turn up at his house?
No, I don't know. I don't know where he lives.
Thank you, Dee,
No,
for becoming a
absolutely
member.
not.
So whoever's doing all this is somebody completely different.
This is a fictional character, hyperbole, exaggeration. This is a figment
Well, it's based on-
of his imagination.
They say it's based on a real person.
Who's they? Netflix.
Well, Netflix
Well,
and Richard
Netflix
Gad.
Fuck do you
are
think
about as
when
mad as
keep
Richard
saying who's
Gad.
they?
If they're saying that, it's absolutely not correct.
Did you ever contact Richard Gad's parents and threaten them?
No, that allegation was put to me by journalists. No,
Never happened.
no.
There's one key point in the drama that has Martha's character pleading guilty to intimidating Richard Gad in court and sentenced to 9 months prison time.
Now, this here is important because this bit here, I feel that Piers slipped up here himself, because Gad has done interviews referencing this specific part of this documentary story, where he said that the person who this was actually about hadn't done prison time. So this bit here is kind of, well, it is what it is. They spend a bit of time on this, but yeah, he'd already covered that. He'd already covered it and basically said, look, the person who did it didn't. We added that in.
Let's watch.
Your charge.
Which was going to
So
skip
that
over
scene is
that.
completely
That's
Can't
invented.
show
completely
it 'cause they'll
false, and
strike
I don't
me.
think the actress sounds like me. I mean, people compare me to Lorraine Kelly, but I look nothing like Lorraine Kelly. We all happen to have dark hair and we're Scottish. You know, I think the actress is from Glasgow, I think, but I'm not sure.
But
I'm not from Glasgow.
And which part of Scotland are you from?
I'm from the Central Belt.
So it's a
Sussex.
slightly different accent.
It's slightly different.
A Scot would know the difference.
A Scot would know the difference. A Glasgow accent's very different.
But that's a fundamental point here, because if they basically have a key point in their drama, which they say is a true story, which involves you admitting to intimidating Richard Gad and getting a 9-month prison sentence, and that is completely untrue.
That's completely untrue. Very, very defamatory to me.
So again, we know that is.
Very career damaging, and I wanted to rebut that completely on this show. I'm not a stalker. I've not been to jail. I've not got injunctions, interdicts. This is just complete nonsense. But it's, I mean, you'll know yourself, if you're charged with a criminal offence, it will go fine, bigger fine, whatever. Very few people go to jail.
Well, you'd have a police record.
Nowadays.
Yeah. Have you ever changed your name?
My surname was double-barreled.
What was it?
Yes.
Muir Harvey. So Muir Harvey.
M-U-I-R.
Yes.
Harvey.
When I got when the parents got divorced, I changed it to Harvey. I just dropped.
So your maiden name when you were born was
Yeah, that's right.
was-
Muir. Yes.
Muir Harvey.
Yeah.
So that's quite an unusual name.
Yeah.
So if you'd ever received a criminal conviction for anything, it would
Yeah.
be on police files.
Yes.
And what
They
you're
filed
saying
an
is you've never
injunction
been
against it,
even
though.
charged
That
with
was
it,
the only thing that he did.
let alone the one that they
Yes.
enacted.
I mean, this
He admitted to a degree of kind of egging her on. He had his own issues, do you know what I mean? So he was he'd kind of admitted to doing things that he shouldn't have done. So he never pursued it to the point of imprisonment. This was admitted in the interview. So there was issues with how he felt. He felt that he was he showed a lot of empathy towards her, and said that some of the things that he felt that he had caused, but he took out an injunction. That was as far as it went.
is 9.5 months in jail is pretty serious.
Did Netflix ever contact you?
No one's contacted me.
Never.
Never.
Did Richard Gad tell you what he was doing?
No, I had.
I've jumped over that bit
I
because
just
we
thought it was
don't
the right
need.
time to sort of try and bring a nuanced conversation to something. I think the human condition is extremely complicated, and I felt like a lot of art and TV in this day and age had maybe simplified it too much.
It's not a villain and victim storyline. I think you're left with a lot more than that. It's kind of two lost people.
What's your response to that?
I think they're
So that
milking it
was
for all it's
Gad
worth
and
for
the
money.
actress who
She doesn't
played
even sound
Fiona.
Scottish in that interview. Her accent seems to be varying.
Well, she's not.
She's
She's
not
English.
Scottish.
She's an actress.
I was going to say it sounds more
No, she
Lancashire
put-
to me. Yeah,
No, she's English.
Which
She's-
hadn't,
she's an actress.
I
She's
know
putting
that,
on the voice for you.
She's from
They're
Lancashire,
milking
I
it
think.
for all they're worth. It was the right time to abuse someone on all over social media and all over, basically somebody who's not from Loveyland, not from Theatreland, just abused me all over the newspapers. If they're happy with themselves.
What do you feel about Richard Gad?
I think he's psychotic, and I think that anyone going along, being in that play, and doing this to somebody, I find the behaviour outrageous.
He says the whole thing started because he felt sorry for you, and that's why he befriended you.
Your staff said that to me in the waiting room. This is a lot of nonsense. I've got lots of friends.
What did you talk to him about?
It was just holy arms banter. It was
like what? What kind of thing?
What you're going to do with your life, or career stuff. Sort of. And I thought he was a stand-up show.
But is it possible he was under the impression that he felt sorry for you?
No, I never got that impression at all. I got the impression that he was all out for himself, wanted to sort of control that bar, very, very inarticulate, very full of himself. I should never have gone in that bar.
Do you wish you never had?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What happened there?
Go to motionready.com to add this to your video, and that, and that.
How long did you know him for, Richard Gere?
2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months at maximum. He only worked there on certain days.
And did you always go on the days he worked there?
No.
That this here is what we showed at the beginning. The solicitor, Mrs. Ray. We showed that at the beginning.
Oh, I've been in there on different days having food.
Have other people from the pub contacted you?
Nobody's contacted me.
No one at all?
About this at all, apart from the media.
Hey, Dan, just in case
the
you fucking send them
media
emails.
and stalkers on social media.
He says, Richard Gere, he didn't see you as a villain, but as somebody who is unwell and needs help.
Yeah, well, he maybe should look a bit closer to home, to himself, as someone who needs help.
What, you think he's mentally unwell?
Yes, I think he always was. Whether there was an alleged rape or whether that rape was real or conceived in his mind, I think that would make him more
that's a rape that he says happened.
Yeah,
It was
that uni
television,
grades thing is
person,
crazy.
I don't know who it was. Somebody was falsely linked with it, who turns out to have nothing to do with it. But it's a very graphic scene in the drama where he is brutally raped after a lot of drugs are taken. And he's kind of he appears to be in the drama very self-reflective about himself. He's
I know, Dave.
He's not perfect. He's made lots of mistakes, and he didn't treat you
Might change my
in his
email.
eyes as a villain, like he says, as somebody he felt that you were both slightly lost souls.
I didn't know the rape scene was in the play until this morning. Somebody's daughter had watched it and told me about it. So I was surprised once again. Well, not surprised, actually. I'm rarely surprised by anything he does nowadays. He seems to have written a couple of other shows about this alleged rape, then this one. And we've had no apologies from Netflix or him or nothing. I mean, for someone who says he feels sorry for me,
Tonya. She's
I've
watched
had no
it.
apology, and I have this Martha character seems to have smashed up a bar, sexually assaulted him in a canal, been to prison,
And bottled him.
there are a
And
number
she
of other
bottled him.
allegations.
And none of that is true.
That's not true.
He says that people shouldn't try to find out the identity of the real people in the drama. Do you give him credit for that?
No.
He actually tweeted this. People I love, have worked with and admire, including Sean Foley, who was the man wrongly accused of being the rapist, are unfairly getting caught up in speculation. Please don't speculate on who any of the real life people could be. That's not the point of our show. Lots of love, Richard.
Piers, I'm sorry, I can't see that. The date of that tweet, I can't actually see any of it.
That was literally
Smash like,
a few
baby,
days after it was
smash like.
released.
Right, I saw the headline. It was all over BBC Breaking News 2 weekends ago for 4 days. With Martha promoting herself, the character Martha, Jessica, promoting herself, and him saying, don't speculate. Wow, that's a bit rich now, isn't it? The fans do speculate.
Well, it was almost instantaneous. You were tracked down incredibly quickly.
The Wednesday, the Daily Mail got in touch with me, so that was
Pretty
all
much
over BBC
instantly.
Breaking News, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
I mean, the reason that internet sleuths were able to find out it was you was they found the tweets that you sent him. throughout 2014.
That you said you didn't send him.
10th
Those
of May, for
ones.
example, 2014.
Yeah.
Richard Gadd, did you get my recorded delivery letter sent to the theatre, sent to arrive bank holiday Monday? So you sent him a letter then?
That was that. Sorry, you were raped, something like that.
12th of June, same year, your tweets cheer me up, your timeline is good. 23rd of September, my curtains need hung badly.
We were trying to encourage him because with this first show or something like that.
We were trying to encourage him.
Yes, on the 18th of December, please go and see Richard
Who the
Gadd's show.
fuck's
It's well written and neurotic.
Yeah.
The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
But
We were trying to encourage him.
Nothing negative though
Who's
about
we?
No, because I didn't think he was a complete psychopath who was going to attack me in this way.
But the show did involve you.
This show here, not that show there.
That made no reference to...
This was a previous show.
It made no reference to you, that show.
Which show?
The one you're talking about.
Yes. So, it's funny this is coming up now. My view is it's all about the money. The Martha Barstow Edinburgh Festival thing wasn't making any money. He'd failed as a comedian, he'd failed as an actor, and therefore, let's make some money, sell this to Netflix. I think anyone in their right mind, you had a group of guys on there in their 20s, they don't believe it.
Can I ask you, what was your upbringing like?
I was going to say standard Scottish, singing standard Scottish countryside.
Happy? I mean, happy upbringing?
Impoverished, but middle-class upbringing, if you like.
Any siblings?
I have a sister. My mother worked incredibly hard. My parents got divorced when I was 9, but she worked like a Trojan.
Are either parents still alive?
My mother is, yeah.
And how does she feel about this?
I've not talked to her about it.
I've not talked to her about it. So they get on. They're a close family and that, but she hasn't mentioned this. So we haven't had a chat about it. Mum, I did it again.
Hoping she'll have just seen the Scottish headlines and that's it. She's not an internet freak or anything like that.
But she has no idea what's happened to you then?
She will know bits. And she was very, very angry with Laura Walker for doing the original article when I went for parliamentary
You haven't talked to your mother about this?
No, and that may seem strange, but I don't want to worry her. I'll tell her I've been on this show.
I'll tell her I come there. What did you go on there for?
I don't want to worry her.
Let me ask you, The Sun reported an interview with Laura Ray, who you've referenced, who accused you of inappropriate behaviour whilst you worked with her. Now, the background to this is that you came into contact with the late Glasgow MP Jimmy Ray,
my mum did it.
who died aged 78 in 2013, and his solicitor wife Laura, who was 62, and she was a former Labour Party member. Mrs Ray said that she gave Aberdeen University law graduate you did graduate from Aberdeen?
Yes.
With a law degree. A trainee role at the legal firm McPhail Lawrence Partnership in 1997. Is that true?
It was called L&L Lawrence. I think she forgets the name.
Link building's a thief, and you know that.
Ads.
It's robbed you of your time. You want to post amazing content.
For her own firm, it was called L&L Lawrence.
But that's all true. She gave you a trainee job.
She lured me away from another firm. She headhunted me from another firm because she needed someone to do employment law. And I'm pretty good at employment law, so... She
said that she had to sack you days later because you were completely incapable of behaving yourself.
I walked. Her staff were really, really rude to me. Most people, half the Labour Party had been up there at one point or another and walked.
She then said that following you leaving, obviously very quickly, that you then harassed her. You were then known as Fiona Muir, obviously, as you said, Muir Harvey. Mrs Ray said she was so frightened she issued workers at her firm with personal alarms.
Check this out though. So she said that she dropped her name earlier on, like when her parents split up, but that was when she was 9, and she was still Muir Harvey when she worked for this law firm.
You were then served an interim interdict to stop you from contacting the lawyer or her politician husband. Daily Record reported that.
She messed up, I know, and I've still to speak to David about that, the author of that Daily Record article. She didn't. She messed up because I went into the Court of Session, the High Court in Edinburgh, to get countrywide interdicts, an interdict and an injunction in Scotland and England because I was going to move to London anyway. She mucked up...
Sorry, you went into court?
So who she's talking about now, this is, again, the lady whose article I showed you at the beginning before we watched that lady Ray. The one who has come out again and said, look, she stalked me. And she was the wife of an MP. It's like saying they wouldn't lie. That's like saying, would MPs...
to get them yourself?
Yes, but there was
who?
no need against Laura Walker and Jimmy Ray.
But she said one was served on you.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
An interim.
We have checked this out.
And again, there would be a public record of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And
you're saying that it was never served?
What we think, she served the initial
Just
documents.
answer the question.
She did?
No. She served the initial documents and then there was no hearing. It wasn't minuted for a hearing. I said I would defend, but she mucked that up too. She didn't fill up a second initial document. She then didn't minute for decree in absence. So there is no interim interdict in Scotland.
Why would two people who have no contact with each other at all, Laura Ray and Richard Gadd, why would they both portray you as a very unpleasant harasser?
I don't know why Richard Gadd has, but Laura Walker, it was certainly because I was going for parliamentary selection.
The two different, you get my point, two different people.
Yeah, but Richard Gadd has Googled that. Richard Gadd has used that as
well, that's in the drama.
Show.
Is when they find out that you had previously harassed this family.
I haven't harassed that family.
Well, they're coming out and saying you have.
I didn't harass that family.
Again.
And also I worked for it in 1987, 88. The parliamentary selection wasn't until 2000. He Googled up the article.
Definitely my type.
Because I knew he'd done that. I never went back to the Holy Arms. He was spreading it around Camden.
Bit clingy.
That I was a stalker.
You've never married?
No.
Have you had relationships with men?
I've had boyfriends.
I mean, if you don't mind me being pure,
I'm heterosexual.
Yeah, I mean, how many relationships have you had?
I told the staff that relationships were out of bounds. A lot more than Richard Gadd has, I would say.
I mean, he had a lot.
Quite a few.
Right.
Well, I don't know if he had a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how.
And obviously now you're going. Here's my point. Now you're going public. Then the men that you've dated over the years will see this.
Yeah.
They'll be aware of it. They'll hear you.
I don't think if your next question is going to be, am I stalking them? I think the answer is going to be no.
Well, no, I just wonder how do you think they would view you?
I think they are going to think what I think about Richard Gadd, that he's completely off his head. And I'm not worried about the current one because he's a lawyer and
you currently have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer?
Yes.
In London?
Definitely.
Doesn't matter where he is.
I'd
rather...
No, I understand, but how long have you...
5 years, 5 years.
You've been in a 5-year relationship?
Yeah, so I don't...
So what does he think
I don't
of
want
this?
to drag him in. He thinks this is horrendous. All of my lawyer friends do, all of my professional friends do, other people do, people are being really sympathetic. People I don't know are saying things like, are you getting hounded in the street? You know, people are being really, really nice.
I mean,
anyone who does know about this.
You know, here's the thing. I don't know the truth. You do. And you've been emphatic in the number of denials you're making here.
That's right.
But many of those things that I've put to you can be proven.
You're talking about emails and an email trail thing.
All that.
You know, all of that. You're obsessed with... sorry, I don't mean...
You're obsessed. You're obsessed. You're obsessed, Piers. Keep asking about me if I've sent emails. Yes, because there's 41,000 of them, you lunatic. And that's why we've got you on here, to find out whether you actually sent them. Oh, my word. Who are all these people supporting her? We hear from any of them? No. We definitely didn't. Just have a quick look at what there's in the comments quickly, and then we'll carry on. I can't even get my boyfriend to reply to my text half the time. Oh dear, she's gone red again. It's all eyes. I'm guessing that well, my May, do you still trust her? Where's my May? I want to know if my May still trusts her. Oh, my May, do you still trust her? Is she stalking the actress that played her on Netflix? I don't think she's stalking any of them, but she's stalking a guy from, I think it was the Sun newspaper. Who had reached out to her about doing an interview.
I'm not obsessed with anything.
You've gone on at length for a good 10 minutes about the emails.
Well, only because the emails
Because it's a vast number.
Well, there's a huge number and voice messages. The voice messages he's kept apparently, and there is
maybe taping me in the holy arms. I don't know if he's got any voicemail.
But if he has 350 voice messages and it's you,
it doesn't mean the drama is true.
But is it possible he's got 350 voice messages?
I doubt that very much.
I doubt it.
I just don't think so.
You doubt it?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, unless
wouldn't
he's
you be
taping me.
I mean, if you've never really contacted him.
Hello,
he could have been
Dinky.
taping me in the holy arms, though.
But if he's got 350
I've not contacted
but if these
him.
are on his phone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're on a phone, tablet, whatever they're on. I've not contacted
But I'm curious,
him.
why would there even be a possibility of him having that number of voice messages from you?
Because he's crazy. He wants to make this up. I mean, I've not phoned the guy. I don't have his number.
Yeah, but you're not sure that he hasn't got those?
I'm not sure.
I think the only explanation for having a voicemail from me would be taping me in the holy arms. That's the only...
in the program, in the story, it was actually her who was recording Gad, and he actually got into shit because he had took out an injunction, but then he had I think she'd tried to message him or something. I can't remember, but he had tried to entrap her by saying about that if she left him alone or something, he would hang her curtains for her, and she recorded it and then went to the police with it. So it's quite funny that in the show, Gad shows that she had been recording all of their interactions together, and now she is saying in this interview that Gad may have messages from her because he had been recording her. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Or that you've left messages on his phone.
She's the gift that keeps
That's
on
the other
giving.
explanation, which just didn't happen.
You can't be sure.
I can't be sure because I didn't have his number.
Right, you just said you weren't sure if these were your voice messages.
Yeah, what I mean is somebody could be taping me. You know, somebody could have taped me in the holy arms on a dictaphone or something
But if
like that.
here's my point to you.
They do that.
These are easily provable things.
Yeah.
He's either got them or he hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll
And the
be
emails-
asking for disclosure of that. But
And the emails, obviously, there'll be an IP address, and if that leads to you.
Yeah. I mean, my point is, though, even if that were true, I didn't lunge at him across the bar. I didn't sexually assault him in a canal. I didn't go to jail.
I understand.
So,
but here's my point to you.
yeah.
Here's my point to you, Fiona. And I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm not trying to trap you. I'm genuinely fascinated by this story. I watched the drama. I saw them declare it at the start as a true story.
Did you notice that as well? I didn't mention it in this interview, so whether she had been asked about this previously, because she just went there, I didn't lunge at him at the bar. Well, Piers didn't say that she had lunged at him at the bar. He had said that she had been accused of, or Gad had said that she had assaulted him. So that could have been at any point. That could have been out in the street. That could have been anywhere. But she then turns around and says, I didn't lunge at him at the bar, which was how it was depicted in the show that she claims that she hasn't seen. So, I don't know.
Story. And I've seen the interviews since with all various people, and it's clearly a very complex situation, this. But unless I'm mishearing you, I think what you're saying is there is a possibility that you send a lot of emails
No,
and there's a lot of
no,
voice messages,
I didn't say
but that
that.
it doesn't mean that you did the more serious things.
Yeah, I am not saying at all that I sent loads of emails.
Clever,
You maybe
Piers.
misheard, play back the interview. What I'm saying is a handful at most. If I did, congratulations about the show.
But if he does
etc.
have 350 voice messages,
I know that he doesn't.
and it's your voice,
He doesn't.
and everyone can now hear your voice,
Unless he was taping me in the holy arms.
or he just kept them on his phone.
I didn't phone him. You sound unconvinced, but
No,
I
I'm not.
phoned him.
So,
I'm
I just turned
unconvinced.
30,
Who else is
and
unconvinced?
naturally, this has come with lots and lots.
Honestly,
I mean, what?
No. So is your point that are you challenging him to reveal this evidence?
No,
No.
I would.
Check this out. So, what would you say with that question? What would you say? Piers says to her, so are you challenging him to show this evidence? No. No. Check that out. How funny is that?
Challenge him to leave me alone.
Because you're calling him a liar, and you're calling Netflix accomplice.
I didn't use those words. I said the story, the play, the Netflix show is not true.
No, but if they say that you sent 41,000 emails,
well, they are completely wrong.
All 744
They're
tweets.
completely wrong.
So they are lying.
They are lying. Yes, okay, yeah. In effect, he is lying and they are lying. And in order for a dramatization to be true, it's got to be, the only defences are veritas, I'm telling the truth, or the whole drama needs to be true. They have billed it as a true story, so has he, and it's not. It's blatantly not. Even if the email thing was true, the rest is not. So
why would you qualify?
Even if the email bit is true, the rest is not. That's literally what she said. Even if the email bit is true, the rest is not. Fuck. Jeez.
Qualify that, Fiona.
Sorry, why would I what?
Why would you suddenly qualify even if it's true about the emails?
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, you're not, you fucking idiot.
When you say even if the emails were true,
I didn't send him 41.
It doesn't mean the more serious stuff is.
Let me rephrase that.
I would.
That's really what you're saying, right? I mean,
bit late
I don't
now,
want to
though.
force you into saying anything that's not actually true, but it seems to me that it may be possible that you have communicated all this stuff with him, but that doesn't mean you did the more serious things.
That's true.
It doesn't mean you attacked his girlfriend. It doesn't mean you smashed up a bar. It doesn't mean you did any of those things or threatened anybody. It just, yes, you had a relationship with this guy and you did contact him a lot.
I knew this guy. I didn't contact him a lot. I've never said that in this interview at all.
No. But interestingly, for me, as an interviewer, and I'm just trying to get to the truth. You understand?
No,
I honestly
I'm
not trying to
see that. It's your show.
I'm not trying to trip you up.
They said it was a true story, Dante. They said it was true, but at the end of the show, they stated that there was elements of it that had been dramatized. They get a degree of, it doesn't have to be exact. I think this is like trying to say that if someone says something's a true story, then it absolutely has to be absolutely identical to real life, and that's not the case. They do get a degree of leeway there. And the part about her going to prison as well, Gad had already came out and stated that the person in real life had not done prison time. That was something that was added into the story. So, we'll get back. Get back, Shadrach.
Just trying to get to the truth.
I see that.
He has put his version out there and the world has watched it.
Absolutely.
Millions and millions of people around the world have had Richard Gadd's version.
I know.
And I'm simply saying to you that you have a chance here, Fiona, I think, and take this any way you want, but you have a chance here to concede that some of these things might be possible, but that doesn't mean the more serious things happen.
I mean, what I'm saying is...
Because the more serious stuff we know is serious, right? If you were...
if you were in the jail or something...
If you were a violent stalker, or if you'd had a previous situation where you got this interim incident, which we know was served on you.
No, it was not. Sorry to interrupt
We
there.
know it was.
No,
That means he found it.
She has repeatedly maintained this over 25 years. I checked with the Sheriff Clark. Another lawyer checked with the Sheriff Clark. We think that the previous scenario happened. She does not have an interim interdict. I think she's quite wrong.
Okay.
If the Sheriff Clark can produce that and say she didn't muck up and minuted for decree, why was I not served an interim injunction?
If Richard Gadd is watching this, what's your message to him?
Good point,
Leave me alone,
Sonny.
please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done.
And you will categorically be taking legal action?
Absolutely, against both him and Netflix.
You said your boyfriend's a lawyer, so this can be done
He's not doing it, no. I'm not doing it. Somebody else is going to be doing it.
Have you instructed lawyers?
We've instructed them in part, but we want to explore all the options out there. There are a number of people to sue. We can't all be in 10 courts all at once. So,
who else are you planning to sue?
The Daily Mail. Anyone that's saying this is true and harassing me and that kind of thing. We have not had time to do everything.
If investigation, if you sue and there's discovery, and it turns out that 41,000 emails did come from a device belonging to you, how would you feel about that?
I wouldn't be suing if I thought there were 41,000 emails out there.
You understand how easy it is to find them.
I understand completely.
And that if they did exist and you're categoric that they didn't, it would obviously
It wouldn't
impact
blow the
on
whole
you.
case. It wouldn't blow the case against Netflix and it wouldn't blow the case against him.
No, you
because
might
he's
well have
making out it's a true story.
No.
If you see what I mean, I'm back to my original position.
I understand, and I understand that it's obviously put your life
Maybe
into a very
she's
difficult
crazy.
position.
It's very.
And their
I
central
didn't say.
claim that they made all this effort not to lead to you being identified, I don't think stands water.
I don't think it stands water.
To me, it's pretty. I could have listen. I've been a journalist 40 years. I could have discovered it was you in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Once I'd watched.
Yes, I agree. I discovered it was me when I saw the BBC breaking news baby reindeer show at the Edinburgh Festival, when I was Googling up just the news that day or the weather or something, and this came up, and he was holding up a placard or a newspaper article, MP's wife stalker, all you need to do is Google that. Then I saw the name of the show and I thought, bloody hell, what's he up to? And
What's he up to? What's he up
I
to?
tried to get a friend to go see
Thank
the
you,
show
Addie.
because she was based in Edinburgh.
Thank
but she was
you.
on holiday. Nobody I know had seen that show either. So I was really shocked. I was very upset for 2-3 days. And then the general plan of action among my close friends was, look, just, let him get on with things. He's not going to be that damaging. You don't really know him. This will go away.
When
Famous
did you
last
last have any
words.
contact with him?
Famous last words. Years ago.
Do you remember when?
Years ago, no. I left the Holy Arms, didn't go back, and he was calling me a stalker and things. There were various things happening in the Holy Arms. Other women were warning me about them and everything. Yeah.
About him?
About him and others with bad conduct.
Of course they were.
In relation to the 106 letters that he and Netflix say you sent, well,
did you just catch that though? Did you catch that? Because she was talking about what happened. I couldn't remember years ago, but there was things happening. Like he was accusing me of stalking him. So he was accusing her of stalking him back then. So it's clear that she hadn't just met him 3 times. Just fuck's sake. There's so many little things that you listen to her, and
here's my point. You've admitted sending him one, and that presumably was a handwritten letter.
Could it be, are you thinking I was maybe mistaken, that I maybe did? And I've
No. I'm
forgotten?
just saying, if we accept that the one that you admit to sending is in your own handwriting, he has another 105 letters in your
Yes, it's
handwriting.
nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
but
nonsense.
are you prepared for him to show that one?
He's
and the
maybe
others?
forged things. I mean, people forge a lot
He's
of things.
forged
You
it.
think
nowadays.
He's definitely
he could
forged it.
successfully write 105 letters to himself?
Well, I certainly didn't.
No, but you admit to sending one. My point is,
the letter. I did think this about the letter, Sonny, but she sent it to where he was doing the shows, so it weren't his home address or anything like that. She said the letter was sent to where he was doing his stand-up show after he'd talked about the attack during the show, the stand-up show.
if it turns out the other 105 are exactly the same handwriting, wouldn't that point
Yeah, I
to
mean,
maybe...
we would obviously bring in handwriting experts. I didn't do it. Not guilty.
You only
I'm
sent
sorry.
one letter?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't sent that guy
So
106
from
letters.
no
Do
contact.
you still email people?
So from no contact to now, what is it? 1 letter, about less than 10 emails and 18 tweets. It's creeping up.
What do you mean?
Do you send emails?
Yeah.
Do you have the same email address you've always had?
I had 6 at one point.
Why?
Because I like to keep people on different phones and different emails.
Six different email
easier.
accounts?
Maybe 4. I think it's 4 to 6. Yeah, it's
Was it four-
easier.
4 or
it's
6?
easier. So you have some for your utilities, some for close friends.
I do know
whatever.
people who do
6
this.
is a lot.
Is it?
I don't know anybody with 6 email addresses.
You don't know many people then. I know people with 4 or 6 emails
Right.
address.
Or was it 4 or 6?
I can't remember.
I think
Probably
I've got 6.
How many do you use today?
I had 4 phones. I've got 1 today, but I only email select friends.
And you have 4 phones?
Yeah, 2 broke. They were very, very old. 1 was brand new and broke, and it's still to be returned.
Do you want your
I
videos
don't
to look
stalk
like
anyone
this?
though, but
well,
I do.
in just
I
14
think
days,
I do
we've
have
taught
6
all these
email
people how to do
addresses.
it. Our program.
I'm pretty sure I do.
I like keeping people on separate phones as well. And maybe that makes me a maniac or a stalker or something. But if you've got somebody on about your electricity bill or somebody on about...
Fucking tool. I like to have different phones for different people, but maybe that makes me a stalker. Fucking hell. Oh, you can make this shit up. You can make this shit up.
some work or something. It's nice to keep it separate, you know. So I didn't do that in Scotland. You didn't have to. But the volume of calls
do you think,
here is...
Fiona, do you think if somebody did send someone 41,000 emails, 350
I think that's
voice messages,
excessive, obviously, yeah.
would that mean someone's stalking someone?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it could be, it could be your wife. It could be, you're maybe sending emails every day about the kids or
if
something.
I said
like that. I don't know.
41,000
is a
emails,
lot. That's how many a day? My maths isn't working this time of night. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Super catfish.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're stalking somebody. They could be great friends. You know, they could have been friends for 50 years or something.
Was he ever your friend, Richard Gadd?
No. Stuff as
I didn't have fucking
well.
emails 50 years ago, did they, you silly twat?
Yeah, but banter's one thing. Scottish banter down here is quite kind of welcome. You know, it's not really fun city, is it? It's not a joking city.
Were you ever in love with him?
Yes. Is that serious?
I don't think I have, Dinky, to be fair. And I send a lot. No, I
it's not a
don't.
question of...
I'm a stalker again.
By his own admission, he has said that he led you on at times. And he clearly
I gave him the brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him. He said, would I like my curtains fixed? And I laughed. And he said, that's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you? And I said, I've got a boyfriend. I gave him the brush off.
Fuck off.
Big time, I think. You know, subtly so, but the bottom line is this is behind him. No,
I won't have none of it. Bollocks.
I don't fancy little boys.
I don't believe that.
Without jobs.
He had a job. He worked in a pub.
That sounds awful. That sounds really, really callous, but, you know.
She's bitter as fuck, isn't she?
People will watch this who've watched the Netflix series. And like me, they will be trying to work out where the truth lies. It seems to me that either you're innocent in the way that you've claimed to be, and you've been horribly defamed here. I think at the very least, the Netflix duty of care and Richard Gadd's duty of care has been a spectacular failure.
I agree.
Right, regardless of anything else, regardless of your culpability of anything, the duty of care has failed because people identified you incredibly quickly. So they've made this what they say is a true story, and everyone's worked out it's you, and the picture they paint is of a completely crazed stalker ruining a man's life, albeit he accepts that some of his behaviour may have led
23,000. Is that all?
Can I ask a question? Do you happen to know how much he's made out of this Netflix thing?
I would imagine several £1 million.
Yes, I would say 3 to 4 million. A lawyer I know well thought
she knows some fucking lawyers, mate.
Suggested 750 to 100,000. I said no. I think you're looking more about 3 or 4 million, and I think the more he publicises, it goes up. According to how much it's streamed. I don't know the contract they signed. I think he's done bloody well out of defaming.
Do you resent that?
I don't resent any Scot getting on. This is not what this is about.
But he's effectively making money out of what he says.
He's making money out of
what
my
he says
misery,
is you stalking him.
Making money out of her misery.
He's making money out of untrue facts. He's been the ultimate misogynist. The actress was also not appealing for calm. He was appealing for calm. I think he did that to sort of stir things up more. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think your staff were talking about Martha, the sequel or something like this.
Yeah.
It's just completely
That's what people are hinting at.
That's going to be Piers.
Crazy. Well,
Piers.
your staff put that to me and put to me, should I write a book about this? Well, I've got other things to do, but it's a possibility.
You got a law degree.
Yeah.
Law degree, so you're obviously very bright.
I'm buying that fucker, I'm telling
I've
you.
got a photographic memory. I was top of the school, apart from the science.
Which school was
this?
that?
I went to the science person got the most marks because you can get 99%.
How many O and A levels did you end up with?
I got 6 hires, 2 SYSs, and they were all sort of, most were A-band 1s, which was when the A-band 1 was top of the thing.
And with your law degree, what grade did you get?
Not bad. I mean, all right.
What was it?
What was it?
I just did an ordinary degree and then a diploma in legal practice.
Well, what grades did you get?
All right grades. But I went out
what were they?
partying. I didn't do an honours degree, so just bog standard grades.
What degree did you did a law degree or?
I did a law degree with 13 subjects, 13 law subjects. So it wasn't the CPE or anything, which I also have from down here, but it was 13 law subjects.
This is from Aberdeen University.
Yeah.
So what degree did you end up with?
Degree did you end up
and
with?
then I did a politics degree after that.
And what grade did you get?
Politics, women's studies. I did substantially better in that because I did more work. I think in our day, when you went to university, you did.
There's a reason you say you got a photographic memory, but what grades did you get?
All right grades. I mean, not top of the year or anything.
No,
but all right grades.
When you do a degree, you get a.
Yeah, you're asking me what marks I got for 13 subjects.
No, he's not.
Well, no, you end up with it. Did you get a first-class degree?
Oh, no. Well, I said I didn't do an honours degree. I wanted to go out and practice, so it was an ordinary degree I did.
Right, but you can't remember how you did.
I did all right. I didn't do top of the year.
But the other graduates at the same time, they'd all remember you.
Some of them remember me. One of them did incredibly well. He's a High Court judge. Some people didn't do well. I think the general idea in the 80s was we didn't really do much work. That sounds absolutely awful. But, that was kind of the 80s.
If it came to it, would you take a lie detector test?
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. I would do other lawyers about that.
If we set one up, you would do it.
A lie detector test for what?
The police, as you know, the police use them. They're just an indication.
They use them for mass murder and things like that.
Well, no, they use them in many cases just to determine whether they think someone said them the truth.
They don't use them that much.
The ones
I know
that
you've done
she
the
stalked,
programmes
remember
of women behind bars and things. I confess, I think I've just seen one, but it's not used that much.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you.
I have to have a think.
Since you mentioned it, I've done a lot of crime interviews with people who've committed way worse offences than what you've been accused of.
Yeah, I haven't. I know you have.
Way more mass murderers, serial killers, and so on. And they're all, I've got to say, almost all of them are very good liars. Could it be, people to be asking this, watching you thinking, either she's genuinely innocent here, or she's a terrible liar who is capable of all of these things.
I don't lie, and I tell white lies if I absolutely have to. Like when my 94-year-old ex-neighbour was dying, we all knew she was dying, and I'd phoned her in the hospital the night before, and I lied and said, have a good sleep, everything's going to be fine, and that. So I'll tell a white lie like that.
What are you talking about?
Somebody clearly needed some rest. And
how many times did you meet Richard Gere?
Don't know.
What would you guess?
5, 6, maybe 5, 6 times.
So it was 2 or 3, now 5 or 6, but
life.
they were friends. Fuck me.
Yeah.
How do you think it's come to this? If that's all true.
I think he wanted to make money. I think he picked on somebody. There was a backstory there with that stalker article out there, right? So stalking's in vogue. Going to prison's in vogue.
Killed a neighbour.
What do writers say, or English lecturers or something? Write about what you know.
And to people who are watching, look down the barrel of that camera. To people who are watching this and who still doubt you, what do you say to them?
I think you should watch this. I think you should look at the number of articles that Richard Gere and Jessica, the actress, have done, and how Netflix and he have promoted this. I think you should look at him saying, I am some sort of mental case. and judge for yourselves, because I can't change your mind on this.
No.
I can just rebut
It's gonna be a struggle.
what has been said. You need to make up your own minds. But my mind is made up. He's a liar. And my friends say likewise.
Fiona Harvey, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Fuck. Oh my God. What the fuck? Why would you like to look down that camera and say, do you fancy a drink? What do people think of that then? What do people think? Is she telling the truth? Is she telling the truth? Let me just get rid of that screen. Fucking hell, that's gone crazy. I'm going to put that chat down there. Ah, funny. So how... Oh my God. Oh my God. Hello, legendary CEO. Hello there. Hello. I did see some people come in. Oh gosh, please don't offer her a drink. Yeah. Just think, whoever give her that drink that she was drinking through that, they're fucked. She's gonna be all over them. What do people think, though? Honestly, what do you think? Let's get some insight into is she? Oh my word! I would love to. If you, for some reason, Fiona, if you come across this video, just you're bored and just scrolling, I will happily interview you. I would love to interview you. Obviously, I don't have an email address. I don't have phone numbers. I don't have anything, and I won't interview you at home. But I would definitely interview you. That would be funny as fuck. She's definitely the real life woman from the movie Misery. Oh, Jed. The only thing she didn't do was hobble him. She's just tried to bottle him around the head. She was drinking tea. Was she drinking tea? Do not offer to interview her. That's too late now. That's too late. I've done it. Come on, I'll interview you. Yeah, well, that was the interview of her, and that didn't do her any favours at all. Didn't do her any favours whatsoever. None whatsoever. But that interview was just the gift that kept on giving. To go from no, I didn't know him. I've never communicated with him. To I'd spoke to him perhaps 3 times. Then to fucking 6 to 8 times, or 5 to 6 times, whatever it was. And people found her because there was remnants of the messages that she'd sent still online. What's the movie called? It's Baby Reindeer, and I think there's I think it's 7 parts. Dinky, she is a very believable lady. And that, my friends, is perfect British sarcasm. Brought to you by Dinky IMO. There, she's a very believable lady. I knew she was, I can't say a lot. And she had a baby reindeer. She did. She had a baby reindeer when she was little. And she thought that it looked like him. Gad. God. It's late. It's gone 12. A tea, a coffee, mini-size Adley for Mama Harsh. Thank you very much, Danny. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And, well, I'm going to love you and leave you. That is if anything comes of this, anything explodes on her, I will come back to you and we'll talk about it again. There's obviously going to be some kind of fallout. So if we need to come back because she does another interview or this goes even more crazy, then I will definitely I'll come back and do it. I know it's not going to be the most popular thing because not everybody's interested in it, but I was interested in it. I found it funny, and I thought that I thought I'd let you guys watch it with me. That was funny. Harsh's geometric colour is amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's only because Miss Harsh keeps changing the flipping thing, as I'll have it on a colour, and I think she finds it funny to walk past and press a button. So, like, what is that one? We go purple. What's going? That's the white one, isn't it? Then we got blue. There's loads of colours, but I've only programmed some of them into this. But that's the white. But yeah, we need to get on the phone. Yeah, we could do a phone interview if someone else gives me their number though, because I'm not giving her my number. I'm not giving her my number. But anyway, Tuesday we're back live. And if you didn't watch the video today, I'm sure most of you did. Go and check it out. We talked about the Idaho forecast. We're going to be going further deeper into what we spoke about today in that video. So keep your eyes peeled. It will be same time, but Tuesday. So if I don't see you before, I will see you all. Just trying to sort that out. I will see you all then. Enjoy the rest of Mother's Day for those of you who have still got some of that day left. And let's hope we have a good week. Monday tomorrow. Monday. I love Mondays. I'll catch you all in the next one.